there we go. There we go. Nice. There we go. Man, that's a fun rod. Let's see if we can spot lock that. Okay, here's our starter fish to the day. The program that we got going here is we've got a heavy, hard weed line right here. You can see some lily pads, and there's a little bit of coontail here, and it's just like a wall, it stops. And we've even got some bait fish right here, I can see. So what I'm doing is I got a 1/2 ounce spinnerbait, and I'm kind of paralleling that weed line. And as the weed line recedes, I'm letting that spinnerbait fall down there like that. This might not be a giant, but they're sitting in those weeds waiting in ambush, and I'm just bringing it right in front of their face. So the way I'm rolling this spinnerbait, it's really important to make a long cast. So I got an eyeball on the shoreline right here, so I kind of, in my mind, can imagine where the weed line is. And so I'm making a long cast and letting that spinnerbait just soak along that weed line. Like I said, it's gonna sink down and follow that weed line as it drops. And so it's important to make sure that that spinnerbait stays in that zone as long as possible. A long cast is gonna help you do that. Now, another thing is sometimes you can get ahead of yourself spinnerbait fishing and wanting to burn those blades. But a good way to help you slow down and make sure that you're staying in that strike zone is to use a slightly slower reel. And a 6:6 to 1 or a gear ratio around that ballpark is going to let you maximize, the time that that spinnerbait is soaking along that weed line. So just another thing that goes with keeping it down deep and following that weed line so you're not burning it back to the boat too fast. So a lot of guys steer away from fishing a spinnerbait because they think it's somewhat of a boring retrieve, that you just cast and wind it, and let the bait do there we go. Ooh, right off that log. Like I said, you're just casting and winding and letting the bait do the work, but I incorporate a little action in the rod tip. Come on up. Ooh. I make that skirt swim and pulsate a little bit more. So I'll demonstrate that after we get this fish unhooked here. But you can make those blades come alive, and you can make that skirt come alive too. Another one off the lay down. But as I was saying, making that skirt come alive, I'll use the reel, and oh, there we go, just like that. Do you see that boil? I'll use that skirt and that reel to pulse, give that bait a little swimming action like it's trying to escape or something like that. So I'll crank and I'll pop the rod like that. So by pulsing that bait, it gives off a little bit more vibration and a little bit more flash. So another thing I do when I'm spinnerbait fishing is when I make a cast, I engage the spinnerbait as soon as it hits the water. So I'm pulling back on the rod. As soon as that bait hits the water, I got my thumb on the spool before I even click the spool over. So that way when it hits the water, I'm pulling back on it and those blades engage as soon as it hits the water. Then I got time to catch up with it with the reel. But a lot of times you'll get strikes as soon as it hits the water as those blades start to turn. So I cast out, I catch it with this hand, I pull back, and it's already started spinning. Oh, there we go. That's a good one, better one. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. Nice. As soon as that weed line stopped, I'm gonna come out to deeper water here so he doesn't get me in too tight. Come on, buddy. Oh yeah, love that in clear water. Come on up, nice fish. Here we go, ease up. Nice. Same program. These bass live on the weed line all summer long, and so it's just a matter of delivering the right presentation to them.